Okay, here you guys go. You guys have been asking for how I did this conversion from a 2006 to a 2014 plastic setup. So the changes you guys are going to have to make on this side aren't too many. You'll have to change the bracketing on the shrouds up in here. I don't know if you can see it real well, but there's little extensions right here. You see how it sits off the tank. So you got to raise this bracket up to be able to receive this. I use little cups basically on here that you could thread into on little metal brackets. I did the same down in here. Let's see if I can pull this apart. You can see this little bar going down there, and that's where it bolts down into. So you can relocate that. That one's really easy to do, and you got one off the side on this guy too. So you can barely see it. Just barely see it, but it just extends this down so it can receive right there. As far as the shrouds, you have to do that on both sides, but the big work is in the back. We'll start with the air box, which right here you have to build a plate from the 2014 air box to receive the 2006 air boot. And we'll get a picture on the other side so you guys can see how this is kind of done. But you can see where the plate is on the air box, and I've put rivets in to actually hold it to it, plus some silicone to seal in between to get rid of any water or air gaps that might be inside there. The seat you guys are going to have to cut. Now you can kind of see the different lines on here from the plastics. So you kind of cut the edge down here, cut across, and this is all the regular seat pan here. So you got to remove your foam from your seat pan and then lay this over the plastic, and you'll see kind of where the line is where you have to cut. Put the plastic over top the seat and then just kind of trace the line of where you have to cut on the seat, and then use a jigsaw to cut it down. And then you have to trim the foam also, because the foam's going to hang down over it. The seat itself is going to come out to about right here. So you guys are going to have to cut off about a ½ an inch or so of plastic off the edge of your seat and round it. Cut the seat foam too. And that'll get it to kind of sit down in the recess there. Now the other thing that you're going to have to do, we'll go ahead and take the seat off, is you have to relocate the brackets. Now you can see where the old seat mount was. All I did was take the old brackets and move them back like such, and I'm here, right here there's a gap here, so I just put washers underneath to bridge up that gap, and it seems to be holding just fine. There's probably some better ways to do it, but that was the way that I came up with, and it seems to be working. The other thing is actually, I don't know if I can see it because it's covered over, there's going to be 2 bumps of plastic right here and right here on your seat pan. You're going to have to cut those things off flush, and I didn't fill them in or anything, but there's you could probably patch them in or make it so there's not any water that's going to get up into your foam right there, but that'll handle it. Okay, now down inside the air box you can't really see too much different, but that's the 2006 air filter. Don't use the 2014 because you're going to take the air boot from the 2006 to the 14 air box, so your actual cage is going to be a 2006. So keep all that 2006, that way it'll all marry up just fine. Now the top of your subframe, this is where you have to build a little bracket or change up your mounting. Now my tank strap wouldn't fit after I put in this mount, so it's just kind of cheesily zip tied there for now until I come up with something different. But this is the bracket we made, and this is just chromoly steel. And what we did is we made took some tubing here and we threaded the inside of it, and made it so we can thread in bolts on each side, and then also made it so the brackets went down and received to the old subframe mount down in here. So you can bolt it right here, and then this just lays over and your new subframe bolts up to it. Now you can see where it's offset. You've got about a 1/2 inch gap here. Actually, this one almost marries up within the same line of the old bracket, and this one is about maybe an inch gap off. But you'll see the difference once you go to marry up your subframe on there. It will line up straight. There is a little bit of a cock to it, but you'll see on the sub, you can see the rear fender kind of leans just a little bit. And we tried taking that out and moving the subframe a little bit, but it just you can't get it all gone. But who can really tell? If they're following you that close, you need to speed up. Now brackets over here. Now this is something we changed big time, because here's our old mount. We had to build a whole new mount here to come off and receive the new subframe. So all we did was take chromoly steel, about 1/8 inch thick, and just made new mounts there to be able to receive that. So that's your basic steps to getting this thing to mount up. If you guys have any questions or any comments on it, feel free to comment or voice up. Go ahead and follow me on Instagram. I'm mr.lundrful, or #LundMX to see other bikes that we're working on and different projects we have. Thank you guys.